All right, so we're back from a very interesting week, and then Sandra Fenwick is here with the business
It's a
news.
privilege meeting you. Can I greet you?
Yes, you can, but
All
please go
right.
ahead with the business news.
All right, good evening. I'm Sandra Esenam Afenut. Let's do business. And by Wednesday, December 11, gas and cement will go up by about 3 cedis on the back. A statement signed by the commercial director of the company says the company's cost of production has gone up significantly due to the depreciation of the Ghana cedis against major international currencies. It added that increased utility tariff, fuel, and port duties have compelled the company to adjust prices upward. Initially sold for 32.284 cedis in Tema and 32.142 in Takoradi, the Super Rapid 50 kg cement will now sell at Tema factory for 35 cedis, 2.284 pesos, and in Takoradi 35 cedis, 142 pesos. The 50 super strong cement will go for 35 cedis, 63 pesos per bag in Tema and 35 cedis, 49 pesos in Takoradi, up from 32 cedis, 638 cedis, and in Tema at 32 cedis, 496 cedis in Takoradi. Gasem Extra has also gone up from 33 cedis, 583 cedis pesos and 33 cedis, 505 pesos to 36.583 and 36.205 respectively. The company says these prices are based on non-invoiced basis and includes all discounts. It also added customers will be given ample time to lift their backlogs at the old price levels. Meanwhile, some currency dealers and banks are pushing for an increased dollar support from the Bank of Ghana to halt the cedi's continuous depreciation. The local currency since the beginning of this year has depreciated against the dollar by 13.30% and now selling around 5 cedis 69 pesos. However, the Bank of Ghana's response is that they are actually taking a look at that. Let's find out how this report put together by George Biafi on how the cedi has fared so far.
The cedi's depreciation against the dollar might have gotten a little bit out of hand over the past 2 weeks. This is due to a pickup in demand for dollar cash by businesses that are preparing to restock a little bit early for next year, and even some investors that are redeeming their funds in our bonds because of what some analysts are describing as challenges with our fiscals. Let's say fears that the government might not be prudent with its expenditure going into an election year, and concerns that our fiscal targets are too ambitious. On the spot market, some commercial banks were offering as much as 5 Ghana cedis 69 pesos and 5 Ghana cedis 73 pesos for a dollar. The Bank of Ghana itself on Wednesday last week sold about $10 million at a rate range of 5 Ghana cedis 62 pesos and 5 Ghana cedis 65 pesos. The Bank of Ghana has been on the market in terms of dollar supply, but for some commercial banks that have spoken to Joy Business, the supply has not been increased to meet market demand. Some of them have told Joy Business that if the supply doesn't pick up, then the situation could worsen in the coming weeks. But officials of the Bank of Ghana have also told Joy Business that the worst is expected to happen in the first quarter of next year. That is why they are building up their reserves now to be able to accommodate the pressure during that time, when a lot of companies are demanding more dollars to finance their imports to restock. The development has seen the Bank of Ghana slow down on its market support. The central bank's international reserves in October this year was around $8 billion and is expected to be going up before the end of this year. For some analysts, there's a likelihood that the central bank may not increase the dollar support and things could be bad for us going forward. But for some market players, they've argued that this dollar support by Bank of Ghana or any market intervention should be seen as a short-termish approach. But in the medium term, we should look at exporting more to improve upon our dollar earnings and cut down on important stuffs that can be manufactured or produced locally. And the possibility of government also being disciplined with its expenditure, and that could deal with the cycle that we see in the last quarter of the year and the first quarter of the next year.
Looks like we are back to the same old tune when it comes to the cedi and its performance. But is there any new twist to the performance of the cedi? Joy Business's Philip Namfuri has been assessing the trends earlier on the marketplace.
Year on year, I was reading a story from Bloomberg, and it says since 1994, that's over a 25-year period to 2019, our cedi has depreciated every single year. And it all goes back down to the demand and supply issues. We are an economy that's important, and we're not exporting a lot that will bring in the necessary dollar foreign exchange we need or foreign currency we need to support the imports that we have. So anytime there's a sudden demand on foreign currency for imports whatsoever, then we have a dip in the currency because you have less foreign currency vis-a-vis the Ghana cedi. So we are learning that we've depreciated about 13% year on year, and some are saying that compared to the last year's depreciation, it's quite huge. And the reasons being adduced are a lot, but the primary reason in there is the demand and supply issues. And if you look at the graph we have displayed, it is from Bloomberg's website. Over a 5-year period, you see how the cedi has depreciated, starting at 3.5 Ghana cedis to a dollar, moving up all the way over the 5-year period. So in 2016, we had 4 Ghana cedis. 2017, 4 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos. 2018, we have 5. 2019, now we have the 5.74 that was up to the right here. So you see that, yes, over a course of time, it's been very, very funny, if I can say so. And it all goes back down to what we've been discussing since I was in GSS. Okay. How do we get more into our economy from our exports? How do we add value to our exports to increase foreign currency supplies that we get? Because we'll continue to export, but we need to ramp up what we are taking out to bring in foreign currency. Simple as that. Bank of Ghana's role as the controller of currency supplies, that's the Ghana cedi, but they have a role to play because of the effects of the foreign currency on the Ghana cedi. They can increase foreign currency support onto the market. We've seen some measures over the course of this year, such as the forward market for companies. So if you want to demand some dollars, come ahead of time, come and bid, etc. We've seen some positive effects of that, but perhaps it seems we need more in terms of the foreign currency on the market.
In other news tonight, the Group Chief Executive of Tullow Oil, Paul McDane, has stepped down from the company with immediate effect. This was Group Chief Executive Paul McDane disclosed this in a conference call with investors this morning. The company's Exploration Director, Angus McCoss, is also stepping down. Details in this report.
According to details of the conference call provided by the company, the Group Chief Executive, Paul McDane, and the Exploration Director, Angus McCoss, are resigning from the board of the company. It is by this move that is leading to the 2 directors losing their current executive positions with the oil exploration firm. Details of the conference call further noted that the resignation was done by mutual consent. The company has in the interim appointed board chair Dorothy Thompson as executive chair and would have some executive roles for the meantime. The executive vice president for East Africa and non-operated, Mark McFarlane, has also been appointed as the chief operating officer in a non-board role. Les Wood will continue as executive director and chief financial officer for the company.
So when I come back, the Kumfi fruit juice will be hitting the markets before Christmas. I'll be back after 8 p.m. with more details on that.